I'm bored in the house in the board. I'm bored in the house in the board in the board. I'm bored in the house in the board in the board. I'm bored in the house in the board in the board.
You are so lucky because you just heard that for a few seconds. I had that for the whole week and I had to make sure that that stopped. But I also had to plan my next YouTube video. So how did I manage to do both? Stay tuned. So Eden has been basically singing the song I'm bored in the house the whole week. I couldn't even take him outside because it's been raining. And I also had to get my YouTube video done. So then I decided maybe why not get them both together. So I began wondering how can I get him to enjoy my photography and also get my YouTube video done. And as I was thinking, this great idea came to my mind. Let me show you. I remembered a photo I'd seen on my family friend Tanya's Instagram account where she recently posted this beautiful water splash photography. It reminded me of my days where I began photography. Water splash photography, what a brilliant idea. Eden loves to play in the water, he loves fruits, so I decided why not try it? And so we did. So let's start with the setup. I used the Canon 5D Mark III and the Canon 100mm 2.8 while the video was recorded using an iPhone 11. The 100mm macro lens allowed me to maintain the distance from the water splash, but it also helped me get real close to the action. I used an external flash which was mounted on the curtain rails and later moved onto the couch. The table was placed on gym mats to protect the wooden flooring and added a further protection to the table using cling wraps. Lucky we had a beautiful large bowl which was perfect for the shoot. We used oranges, lime, lemon and bell peppers which offered great splash and color. Now that we are done here, let's go over to my computer where I'll show you how I edit these. Okay, if this screen looks new to you, this is Adobe Lightroom CC, which is my go-to editing software for both Mac and iPhone. I'll firstly begin by getting my photos imported from my drive into Lightroom. I love this software because it allows me to keep my photos organized and it's a great starting point to begin your edits. As these photos are getting loaded, I make sure that I'm sorting my files as per the file name. It just helps me with the selection process. So once you got your photos all loaded, the next thing you want to click on is Develop. And this is where all your magic happens. Out of the photos that I've clicked, I make a selection and I do that by clicking 5 for the ones that I want to keep. And for the ones I don't, I just ignore them. Let me fast forward the selection process for you and show you the photos that I decided to keep. It may also be a good time for you to consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet done so. And make sure you hit the bell to get notified on my upcoming videos. Okay, so from the 191 photos that we clicked, I've got the 12 best photos selected here. Let me start by showing you the right hand panel. So you got few tabs as you can see: basic, tone curve, color, split toning, detail, lens corrections, effects and camera calibration. We'll go through each one of them and I'll show you how it affects our photo. Let's start with basic. So on the basic, you've got the white balance slider here showing temperature and tint. What this allows you to do is allows you to control the temperature of your image by either having it on the cold side or on the warm side. Let me show you. So if you use the temperature on the left, it gets your image to look colder. If you move it onto the right, it gets it looking warmer. Now because our image includes water, I like to keep it on the left side and get it a bit more colder. So let me just do that. Okay, so that looks good. Just gonna move the tint onto the left as well. Okay, happy with that. Just gonna reduce the exposure a bit. Yeah, and let me add a bit more contrast in there. Okay, I'm also gonna reduce the highlights. Add a bit of shadow. Increase a bit of the whites. And let me reduce the blacks. Yeah, so that's looking good. I'm also just going to add clarity in there. That'll give the water a bit more punch in the image. I'm also just going to increase the vibrance and reduce the saturation. So that's already looking quite different and quite nice compared to the original. And let me show you the difference. So that's a before and here's the after. Now if you want, you can keep this, but I'll go ahead and just tweak it a bit more. Let me close the basic. Okay, so the next tab we have is the tone curve. Now what this allows you to do is allows you to control your shadows, your midtones, and your highlights. Now I'm already quite happy with this image, so I won't really mess around with these settings. But in case you wanted to use it, I'll show you how you can do that. Now I've got this shadows here. If you wanted to increase the shadows, all you need to do is just move your slider up. And in case you want to decrease the shadows, just move it down. If you want to ignore that, just double click and it takes it out. The same with the midtones. If you want to increase your midtones, just move the slider up. If you want to decrease the midtones, move it down. Again, if you want to ignore, just double click, takes it out. The same with the highlights. If you want to increase your highlights, increase. If you want to decrease that, just move it down. Okay, so that's basically how it works. As I said, I'm not going to use this because I'm quite happy with the image. So let me just skip that. The next one we have is the HSL, which is hue, saturation, luminance, color, and the black and white. Now between the hue, saturation, and luminance and the color, I like to use color because it allows me to control the colors that are actually on the image quite precisely compared to the HSL. And I'll show you an example. So I've got a beautiful looking orange bell pepper there, but I want to increase the orange to look a bit more orangey. So let me increase the saturation for that one. And I'm making sure I'm clicking orange. And let me move the slider on the right to increase the color. So as you can see the difference there, that's increasing the orange. If I move it to the left, it takes it out. So let me just increase that. Okay, and as I can also see that the orange is a bit dark down there. So I'm just going to move the luminance to increase that. And as you can see, it takes care of that. Now I've got a small tip for you. If you'd like to have the bell pepper looking red rather orange, say red is your favorite, and you wanted to change this to red, you could do that easily by moving this hue slider. If you move it on the left, it takes it down and makes your bell pepper looking red. And if yellow is your favorite, you can achieve that as well. Just move your slider up to the right, and that gives you a yellow looking bell pepper. I've also got another tip for you. If you wanted to kill the blues on this image and just skip the yellow, you can do that. Just click on blue, move your saturation to the left, and that gives you another different image altogether. That's the reason why I love using colors, because it is so flexible and it just helps you control your image as per your taste. I'm going to move this back to blue and I'm going to move it back to orange. And let me just close that. Okay, so the next option we have is split toning. Now this allows you to add color to your highlights and shadows. And I'll show you how it works. So if I want to add blue to my highlights, I'm just going to click blue here. And if I want to add yellow to my shadows, I'm going to click yellow there. So as you can see, it brought a change to my image. It works on most of the images, but for this one it does not. So hence I'm going to take it off. Next I've got detail. Now this allows you to add sharpening and noise reduction to your images. Now as I said earlier, I wanted my water splash to be a bit more crisper, so I'm going to add sharpening to that. And also a bit of masking there. Yep. And since I had my photo clicked at ISO 320, I don't need to really increase my noise reduction by a bit. So I'm just going to use it very minimum. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to close that. The next one we have is lens correction. Now this is really important because it allows your image to match the lens that you had used. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is just check these two boxes here. Make sure your profile is checked, color is checked. And coming back to basic, also what I tend to do is I check and see if my image is on a level. So for this one, as I can see, my image seems to be a bit slant on the right. So I'm just going to try and get it back to look level. Now you have these options: level, vertical, auto, full, which generally work quite effectively, but most of the times it does not. So I'm going to try and see for this one if it works, it does not. So let me try clicking level. Okay, as you can see, it did not work well, so I'm going to take it off. So to sort this out, you have the other option, manual, and you have this option called rotate. So if you move it on the left, it goes anti-clockwise, and if you move it on the right, it goes clockwise. Okay, so what I need is to move it a bit on the anti-clock side. And you have this grid, as you can see, that allows you to get it quite accurate to where you want it to be. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. Now you notice that we've got some white lines along the image, and to take that off, all you need to do is click on this constraint crop. Okay, so that takes care of that. Okay, so once I'm happy with that, I'm going to close that. The next I have is effects. Now this one allows you to add vignetting around your image. I'll show you how it works. So again, if you move it on the left, it adds a bit vignetting around the image. I won't go too much with that. Next one is your midpoint. You can decide on where you want the focus to be. I like to have it right in the center, so that looks good. This one adds your roundness. So if you move it on the left, it goes to a rectangle. If you want it on the right, then it goes a bit more round. And you got the feather next. So the feather, if you move it on the right, it gets harsh, and if you move it on the left, it gets softer. So obviously you want the softer bit, we're going to use that on the right. And the one I love is this dehaze. So this one basically helps you cut off this haze that you may see on your image. So I'll show you what I'm saying. So if I move it on the left, it's adding a bit more white hazy sort of effect to the image. But if I move it on the right, it kills that haze, that white effect that you had. And I'll show you the before and after of just this slider. So that's without using the slider, and that's it. So as you can see, it made such a huge difference just using that. And the last one you have is the camera calibration, which generally you don't need to do much because it's already sorted out by Lightroom. So I'm going to skip that. So as you can see, that's a huge difference from what we had originally and to what it is now. Let me show you the difference. So that's a before and that's the after. Quite amazing, isn't it? There are a few other tricks that you can do to this. For example, if you wanted to take off the side rails that I had off my window, and you can do that by using the spot removal. So you're just going to click on there, and you have the brush size which you can increase with your mouse. Okay, so that's enough, and I'm just going to drag it down to cover that space. Now what it generally does, it takes it automatically to the best matching space, and as you can see, it did a brilliant job to get that replaced. Okay, and I can see there's something on the left as well there, so let me just take that off. Okay, so there you go. So that's already taken care of all that, and all I need to do is close. So yeah, that's basically iMage complete. Quite happy with how it looks, and we can use the same setting basically and do this all over again with the next image that we have. No, I'm joking. What we can do now is to save time, to rather doing it all over again with every image, you have this brilliant option to copy paste the settings that you used on the first one. So you're going to do that by just clicking on the image and right click, and then you see you have this option of develop settings. All you need to do then is say copy settings. Okay, so from this, just a note, because we did those changes with the rail background to get it off, we want to make sure that we uncheck that. So that was the spot removal, so I'm just going to take that off. So that way, once we paste the settings on the next one, it does not incorporate that setting that we had used for that. So I'm going to copy this. Okay, so next what you want to do is just click on the next image, and you again have this option of right clicking, go into develop and paste the setting. There you go, already done. Then again, that was your before and here's your after. As you can see, that has saved you ample lot of time and you don't have to worry about it. Also, if you like, you can use the spot removal again to take off the bits that you don't want in your image. So let me take that off. So that's done. Let me just take it off here. That's looking good. Okay, I'll close that, and the same you can do on the next one. Okay, so let's do this with the next one as well. So right click, develop settings, paste settings. And there are a few things that we need to correct on this one. Let's take this off. Okay, as you can see, it didn't do a good job there, so I'm just going to do it over again. Yep, so that's taken care of. You also have this big watermark that's on the wall, so I'm just going to take rid of that. Okay, and you got the few water spots on the wall. I'm not going to clean them all, but I'll just take the few that I can. Okay, that's alright. And let me close this. Now, just another tip for you. If you wanted to increase the brightness on just these two, for example, and rather affecting the whole image, you have this beautiful brush that you can use. It's called the adjustment brush. And all you need to do is just paint over the object, making sure that you're not crossing the borders. Okay, and once you've done that, you can just increase the exposure slider there to increase the brightness. You can also increase the shadows. And if you want a bit more green, then you can do that as well. Okay, so that's made a difference. As you can see, that's the before and that's the after. Okay. Now we have the next image, and we've got a few other images as well. Now, rather than doing these changes on each and every image, you can do a batch image setting, and I'll show you how you can do that. All you need to do is first just select all the images by clicking and holding your control key. And then you can just right click and develop settings, paste settings. That will apply the setting to all the images that we selected, and that saves you a lot of your time. So then you can basically just go into each of every image and just tweak the few other changes that you want to do. Okay, so let me fast forward the rest of the edits for you, and I'll take you right till the end. If you have any questions regarding the water splash photography or to the edits that I've shown you, feel free to leave me a comment, and I'll do my best to reply to you. That was quite simple, as you saw. We've managed to get the few images at the start edited to our taste, and then we just come back and paste the settings on the rest of it. And we've got some few other tweaks that you want to do. You can just manually play it along each image as you go through. And this is why I love Lightroom, because it allows me to save the settings that I have applied, for example, on this image, and save it as a preset and use it on the future other images that I may have. And I'll show you how you save a preset. So for example, if I've got the settings applied on this image and I want to save the settings, I can come here on the left, go on to preset and add plus. Let's give the preset a name. So for example, water splash, and I'm going to add it to the folder that I've created here. So create. Okay, so that's sitting in there now. So for example, I've just bought this image for my camera and I put it into Lightroom, and rather going and playing through all the settings again, I can just come back here on the left, click on water splash, and boom, that's already applied for the whole image. So all I need to do then is just change the minor tweaks that I want to change, and I'm done. So that saves me a lot of time. As you can see, it's such a good tool to use. And if you're doing a lot of photography and you want a platform to manage your photos and edit your photos as a starting point, at least Lightroom is the best. Right, so I'm quite excited that I've got this all ready now, and I want to bring Eden here and show him how they all have turned out to be. So let me just go grab him. Eden, look!
Wow.
Wow, did you like it?
Yes.
Wow, see, this is the one you threw.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Did you enjoy it? Did you have fun?
Yes.
Shall we do more of this?
Yes.
When shall we do?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
You'll help me with the cleaning?
Yes.
Okay, then let's do it tomorrow. Tomorrow it is then. How cool was that? As you saw, Eden and me had so much fun. We splashed the fruits in the water splashed on the walls, I had to do all the cleaning, and the best thing was Eden wanted to do it all over again the next day. Right, so that is it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed watching us try out the water splash photography and also learned a bit from my photo editing skills that I showed you in Lightroom. If you do try this out in your home, post the photo on your Instagram account and share your account name in the comments. I'll then go check your photo and you'll also have a new follower. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so, and don't forget to hit the bell to get notified on my next YouTube video. Until next time, keep practicing and keep clicking.